Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Higashi Honganji Los Angeles Veterans Year-end Service, Joya-e tonight. I'd like to say thank you for taking your time to join us. And we will begin the service with the chanting of Shoshinge on page 20 of the service book. 皆さん、こんばんは。本日はようこそロサンゼルス別院ジョヤへご参加くださいました。それでは、昇進下のお務めをしたいと思いますので、言行本20ページをお開きください。
主たら献身地、五千を頂 ゆく独大崩壊、逸逆入大へ収集、特使連芸造世界、即昇信尿昇進、流本の人間人図、入生寺恩寺王下、恩寺論難両天使、上皇乱勝菩薩来、三蔵ルシ十条教、本性宣教気楽法、天神菩薩論中下、報道因果見性願、大元へこゆた力少女心、唯心人、漠然本部新人法、承知生じ即根派、必死無量光明道、小修上回復家、同社結晶道難所、微妙浄土活入、万全自力変言宗、円満独合感染症、三部三神経音言、増魔法明道品、一生増悪地偶税、四安妙解小妙化。天道独妙仏性非、大愛上三要逆悪、大妙妙合計因縁、大入本願大智慧、幼者小獣混合心、狂気一年相互、用意大東逆三人、即小小四上楽、遠心公開一大教、延期安女間一切、天蔵修心反戦人、法家二道小弁流、極十悪に唯勝負、薬剤非摂取中、尊の証言水受け、大非無権上昇が、恩次元空妙仏教、連民全幕本部に、新宗教商工編集、戦略本願具悪性、現来生じ臨伝芸、決知義上位昇し、即入弱上無意悪一致新人異能入、不教大事修士等、共済無縁極辱悪、同族自主武道心、唯化心死。今に実行を得たまえり、方針の降臨極もなく、背の防御を照らすなり、知恵の工業計りなし、無量の所相ことごとく、公共かむらぬものはなし、 国一切の不義に触りなし光沢かむらぬ物ぞなき難心よ奇妙せよ少女巧妙並びなし牛子のゆえなれば一切の合計物残りぬ一挙へを奇妙せよ仏教所要最大一公園の仏と名付けたり三途の国安開くなり大王具を奇妙せよ安に宿毒世の聖祭同法大神往生安が
Thank you, everyone. And now we will have English Dharma talk from Rinban Noriaki Ito. それでは、これより、英語の法話を伊藤林番則明より、頂戴いたします。
Good evening, everyone. It's so nice of you to join us virtually at the very last service of 2020, what we call Joya-e, the gathering of the last day of the year. Also, New Year Eve is referred to in Japanese as O-misoka, and misoka means the last day of the month, and when we add O, which is like big or great, it becomes the last day of the year. As it has been since the third week of March, again today we cannot gather here at the temple and must participate virtually using the technology of the internet. We actually had planned for all of the ministers to get together here at the temple for both this service and tomorrow's Shushoe, or New Year's Day service. But because of the recent surge right in Southern California, we had to limit the participation of our ministers. And so as we do at Sunday services streamed from the temple, it's Reverend Fujii and I who are participating. The year-end service has always been a festive gathering. After the service, we go downstairs to enjoy soba noodles, the particular name which is toshikoshi soba. And toshi is a word in Japanese that means year, and koshi means to cross over. So basically, to prepare to welcome in a new year. Traditionally, that bowl of soba is enjoyed at midnight, with the soba noodles serving as the symbolic way of connecting this year to the next to serve as a bridge. Unfortunately, though, for the first time in memory, for the first time since I became a minister back in 1975, and probably 15 or 20 years before from when I was a kid, I enjoy the tradition of participating in this service and eating soba with our temple members on New Year's Eve. This year, though, it's as if we want to hurry up and put an end to 2020. Well, I think we can say that we lived through perhaps the most different and difficult years of our lives. I suppose some of my elders might say that this was this was nothing compared to the first year in which they were locked up in the internment camps back during World War II and had to celebrate the New Year together under those severe conditions. So it is all relative, but what we had to experience this year, the anxiety and the fear of being infected by the coronavirus, the restrictions of staying at home, unable to see family members and friends, unable to come to the temple on a regular basis. All of these things contributed to this 2020 being a year that we'll never forget. Some of us had been planning to participate in the World Global Gathering that was to be held at our mother temple in Kyoto in April of 2020. And that, along with many other things, our Obon Festival and other annual events had to be canceled as well. As I have said many times, though we are fortunate to have listened to the Buddha Dharma often in our lives. It is those teachings, I believe, that have helped us to cope with the difficulties that we've experienced for the past 9 months. We are always reminded of the teaching of impermanence, which tells us that things change from moment to moment, and that oftentimes the changes are not what we want or were expecting. This was certainly true of the COVID-19 pandemic. When it all started to become a problem in early March of last year, most of us, I think, thought that we would have to live with it for a few months. But then, we're still living with it, and actually it's at the worst point of this whole year now. However, with the vaccines that are now available, life will most likely return to what we remember as normal sometime in the future. And it probably will take until summer or even later into the fall for that to happen. The negatives certainly outweighed the positives. Among the few positives, some of you, I think, were able to access the live streaming of the formal succession ceremony of our new abbot, Choyu Otani. Since he served as the overseas district abbot for many years, we've had the opportunity to get to know him and his wife, Sachika, and also the newly appointed overseas district abbot, Yu Otani, as well. In our long history that spans over 800 years, it was the first time that a new abbot shared his acceptance message in 3 languages, in Japanese, English, and Portuguese. Here locally, too, all of us learned how to stream our Sunday services online. So although much simpler than in-person gatherings, we were able to join together, and the virtual services allowed us to reach people who normally could not come to the temple. And in our personal lives, we learned how to cope. Of course, we have heard so many sad stories of people, over 340,000 Americans who've lost their lives to the virus, millions of family members and friends who have lost loved ones. I think all of us have had relatives or friends who have suffered and even died from the illness. What does Buddhism encourage us to do? It encourages us to learn as much as we can. It encourages us to listen to the experts, the doctors, the scientists, and so forth, to follow the guidelines about such things as wearing masks, maintaining proper distance from people we may be together with. And even though we yearn to get together with family and friends, to accept the isolation and utilize our phones, our iPads, and computers to communicate with them. The other thing that Buddhism encourages is acceptance. acceptance of the impermanence that's always a part of our lives. Some things are controllable, but many others are beyond our control. These almost 10 months since March, major parts of our everyday life were beyond our control, and without a vaccine, we were all susceptible. We are all susceptible to being infected. So there continues to be this fear of infection, and as we hear the horror stories of the situations in the hospitals, the fear and anxiety grow even more. As difficult as it is, we have no choice but to accept the situation and do what we can to protect ourselves and those around us. However, with the vaccines on the horizon, 2021 should be the end of this nightmare that the entire world has been living in. I think that all of us, to varying degrees, figured out how to live with the pandemic. We listened to the experts and did what we had to do to keep ourselves and our family members safe. I sometimes introduce Buddhist poets who share their Buddhist teachings with us. And I remember the first book that I received from my sister in Japan years ago of the Buddhist poet, Mitsuo Aida. The title of this particular book was Ame no hi ni wa ame no naka ni, which the direct translation is, on a rainy day, be in the rain. On a rainy day, enjoy the rain. And, he doesn't use the word enjoy, but a better translation might be to be one with the rain or spend the day in the rain. In other words, don't complain just because it's raining. And so that's what Buddhism encourages us to do, to be able to enjoy life regardless of what our karma presents, what impermanence presents to us when we wake up in the morning. 2020 was that kind of year. I became frustrated often for not being able to do what I want or feel the need to do. My family and friends told me to be careful, and I have to say, I felt like I was immune as long as I took precautions like wearing a mask and staying away from crowds. But it is all about how we react to the changes that affect our everyday lives. Accept the challenges and so do our best to continue to enjoy our lives despite the challenges presented to us. Tomorrow is the first day of the new year, but things will not change, will not improve just because we're able to leave behind this terrible and difficult year. And although it might take until late summer or fall, we hopefully will return to the normal that we remember. Have a great New Year's Eve, and as we say in Japanese, Yoi otoshi o omukae kudasai. We hope that you will all welcome in a wonderful New Year. Thank you for joining us this evening, and I hope that you'll join us again tomorrow morning for the New Year's Day service. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Rinban Ito. Now, Japanese Tama talk will be given by me. Okay. こんばんは皆さん。改めて本日はロサンゼルス別院除夜へご参加くださいましてありがとうございます。例年ですと、先ほどのリンバーの話にもありましたけども、この除夜会の後、勤行した後に、会下のソーシャルホールで、年越しそばを食べて、で、そちらの鐘で、108回、除夜の鐘を打ってっていうことが、伝統といいますか、恒例のロサンゼルス別院の、除夜会の、行事だと思います。で、残念ながら今年は、3月からずっと、こういうふうに日曜礼拝を再配信しておりますように、除夜は、このもう限られた人数だけで、Facebook を利用して配信するということになってます。来年のですね、今頃には、こういった状況が改善されて、 また年越しそばであったりとか、除夜の鐘をつくといった、ロサンゼルス別院のその伝統というのをまた再開できればなというふうに願っております。この除夜の鐘を108回ですね、つくっていうのは、どういう意味があるのでしょうか。よく言われているのは、私たち自身に108の煩悩がある、欲求があるということが言われてますね。そういう煩悩というのは108もあるということは、細かいこともあるわけですね。だから、単純にご飯を食べたりとか、あと夜に寝るとか、あとお金持ちになりたいとか、そういった欲求で、そういうのを数えていくときっと108になるんだと思うんですけども、その108の煩悩っていうものをこの108回鐘をつくことで、消えてしまうというか、そういったことがよく言われてるかと思います。しかしその108回鐘をついたことによって煩悩というのは実際消えるんでしょうか。で、またそういう煩悩を私たちは消してしまっていいのでしょうか。その答えについてはなんですけども、私はわからないので、親鸞上人の教えに聞いてみると、先ほども皆さんと言行しましたけども、サービスブックの、23ページですかね、小進下のところに、普段煩悩徳涅槃ということが書いてます。普段煩悩徳涅槃。英語で言いますと、One attains nirvana even without destroying the evil passions. One attains nirvana even without destroying the evil passions. って言いまして、煩悩を断絶して涅槃を得る。難しく言いますとそういうふうになりますね。煩悩、この、欲望ですとか、そういう欲求っていうものをなくすことがなく、涅槃をいただくことができるっていうふうに、親鸞上人は正信下の中でおっしゃってます。このままですとちょっと、いまいちピンとこないというか難しい言葉ですので、もう少し簡単に説明しますと、ここで親鸞上人がおっしゃりたいことっていうのは、大切なことっていうのは煩悩をなくすことではないんですっていうことを言ってるんだと思います。煩悩を鐘を叩いたりとか、修行したりとかして消し去るのではなくて、煩悩を私たちは持ってるんだっていう自分自身を見つめていくこと、そういうことが一番大切なことなんですよということを、この普段煩悩徳涅槃であったりとか、親鸞上人がおっしゃっている教えなんだと思います。考えてみると、108回なり、厳しい修行をしたりして、煩悩が消えてしまったら実際人間どうなるのかっていうと、108の中にはご飯を食べたりとか水を飲んだりとか寝るっていうことがありますけども、そういった欲求、煩悩が全てなくなってしまったら人間っていうのは生きていけませんよね。ご飯食べなかったら死んでしまいますし、水も飲まなかったら死んでしまいます。ですから、その大切なのは煩悩を消し去ることではなくて、私たち人間が実際にそういう欲求を持って、煩悩を持って生きてるんだっていうこと、そういう存在なんだっていうことに目を向けることなんだということをここでは言いたいのかと思います。で、よく仏教の教えを聞くと自分自身が見えてくるっていうふうに言いますけども、人間誰しも間違いっていうのはやっぱり起こしてしまうものですね。やっぱりその年を取ったりとかいろんなことをして経験を積んでいったら確かに頭が良くなったりいろんなことを慣れたりして失敗はしにくくなるかもしれないんですけども、やっぱりどんなに偉い人でもやっぱ、間違いを起こすことはあるわけです。この煩悩であったりとかそういう、自己中心的な考え方っていうのは消し去れないわけですからね。ですから、この間違いを誰かが 犯したとします。誰かが間違いを犯したとして、その時にその人を批判したり非難したりするんではなくて、自分だってその立場になったら間違いを犯すんだろうし、そういう人のことを責めるんではなくて、なんでそうなったのかとか、そういうことを責めたりするんではなくて、その人を助ける、その人の気持ちになって考える、そういったことをしていくことが、自分を見つめることによってできることなんではないかなと。仏教の教えを聞いて、自分自身のそういう欲望であったりとか、自己中心的な考え方、そういうのを見つめることで、人に優しくっていうことが初めてできるんではないかなというふうに思います。明日から新年が始まりますけども、また、来年も皆さんと一緒に、こうして仏教の教えを聞いていくことができればなというふうに思っております。本日はどうもありがとうございました。最後に音読さんを唱和して除夜を終わりたいと思います。Let's conclude this year-end service, Joya-e, with singing of Ondok-san. Okay, so nice background music. So there is an announcement. So due to the COVID-19, the New Year service, Shushoe, will be held on the temple's Facebook page from 10 a.m. tomorrow. So please join us. 明日の主唱会は午前10時より Facebook にて配信されますので、どうぞご参加ください。Is there something? Okay.
Well, since this is the very last service of 2020, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Jason Wong for being here at least once a month, if not more, to help us to stream our Shotsuki services and our major services as well. We're going to have to continue to stream for some time, and so we're going to depend on Jason's help for at least a good half year, if not more. Also, Shin, my brother Shin, has been helping Jason, and then also doing the emceeing and things. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it this evening, but it just happened that Patrick Yoshizaki was here to see if he could give us a hand for whatever we needed to do, and he stayed through the service, and so he took Shin's role this evening, and we thank Patrick too. At any rate, we're really fortunate to have people like Jason, Patrick, and Sheen to help us in order to be able to reach our members in this way. And although it would be so much nicer if everyone could be here for our services, it looks like we're going to continue in this mode for a while, and hope that you'll continue to log in to our services both here at the Betsine and also with Reverend Peter. So at any rate, thank you all for joining us, and hope that we'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you.